right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. How we doing, Billy?
Oh, just getting adjusted to being back, I guess, after a long weekend in California. Back to Missouri summertime.
Oh, big
Hot,
difference.
humid,
Huh?
yeah.
Gosh.
Little jet lag, but we're back.
But we're back. Yeah, the humidity was definitely different than California, that's for sure. And as hot as it was in California, at least it was dry.
It was dry.
But yeah, we kind of grew up in this environment. So even last night, where it was kind of moist but cooling down, reminded me a lot of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely different. That's for sure. I'm sure we'll be getting some storms anytime now too. We love that.
Probably. So yeah, that's the nice thing about Missouri. If you don't like the weather right now, just wait a bit because it's going to change.
That's what they say. So yeah, California was a great time, and we certainly didn't miss out on the No Kings get together and protest there, which surprising. We were in the Central Valley coast of California, which is generally a little bit more conservative, but the crowds were certainly impressive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. There were easily a couple thousand people out there.
For sure.
And all peaceful.
Yeah, no trouble. The police behaved themselves and helped direct, and people were just there. I mean, the amount of different signs we saw was pretty incredible. Everybody was supporting every cause that you can think of that's been trampled on by this gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
Should call him that.
Not really a gentleman.
Yeah, good point. I did notice since we were out of town, several of our people locally went down to Kiner Plaza in St. Louis for the rally. I want to say they had over 20,000 people. I did some drone footage from there. I know a friend of the show, Vern, was there.
Oh, yeah.
The numbers were incredible. And we're going to do a little comparison here. And I'm not looking to upstage anybody. All I'm saying is my point was that in Missouri, not only did the local paper, Post-Dispatch, have a drone so you could actually see what was happening. You didn't have to worry about AI. But they mathematically went about it by looking at the streets they were on, where the streets went to, how many people filled those streets, width of the streets, length of the streets, and then size of people to come out with a number that was pretty close to what they thought showed up. Trump, by all counts in this photo, is just one of many, but they said about 8,600. Doesn't seem like a lot. If you wanted to give him 50,000, do it. But they're made up numbers. And definitely this guy was not very happy. Hegseth was in a lot of trouble. Trump felt that he was pissed at the soldiers. They looked like they were having too much fun. Their faces looked fun and not military-esque, which kind of pissed him off. They were hamming it up, and there was no place for that in this kind of salute to the true king, I guess.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It may have been in Trump's pea brain, a salute to Trump, but it was, it was the Army's birthday, and that's what it was all about. That's the only reason for this parade. It wasn't to hail Trump, our dear leader. This isn't North Korea. This isn't Russia. And he was lucky he got what he got, quite frankly.
I would agree. There were a lot of points made after the fact that some of these soldiers, other nations chimed in and felt like they didn't, the march wasn't in lockstep, so to speak. It turns out that perhaps the guys that were drafted into this parade weren't so thrilled either. They don't train for this. They just grabbed some people. They didn't look very organized in their marching, and they seemed kind of indifferent to the whole thing. And I can certainly respect that. From this photo, I'm going to put up again, the gentleman in the back behind Hegseth over here probably had the best time. They caught him vaping quite a bit. And he did inhale, and he seemed to have a better time. You can see Percent in the back. He looks like he's a little crabby. You can see the White House lady over here keeping a close eye on this guy. It got to the point where it was so bad where him and Melania came up. They presented him with a flag for his birthday gift. And then he stood there kind of waving until somebody actually came and told him it was time to go. Exit stage left, please. But
Get off the stage,
yeah,
please.
it seemed like just a mess, to be perfectly honest. Whoops.
Everything Trump touches is a mess.
Pretty much. And I get no glee out of this. I felt like it was, I don't know, it made us all look bad. And I don't know how you fix that. The acoustics were set.
Yeah.
I mean, here he is again. It's like, we've all seen him get off an airplane and wave to nobody, but this was just kind of rough. And by that point, he had to keep it brief because the crowd was thinning ever more.
People were heading for the exits. Yeah.
So, again, it made us as a nation look kind of stupid. If that number that was released, the Department of Defense did come out with some fake pictures, kind of like an inauguration day. There are photos of a lot of people were on a sunny day, a lot of blue sky. We know that this wasn't that day because it was rain. It wasn't a terrible rain. Trump's whole thing about denying global warming is because of this parade. It was a 100% chance of rain. Didn't happen. Now you want to tell me they can forecast 50 to 100 years down the road global warming?
Yeah, it's easier to forecast trends than it is the weather, the day-to-day weather. Again, it's the analogy of the man with the dog walking on the beach. The man walks a straight course. The dog's up and down. He's all over the place. That's the weather. Climate is a steady course. So, yeah, the idiocy of Trump just knows no bounds.
Yeah, it just continues. So we'll move on from that. I don't take any great pride in the fact that it was a giant failure because I'm part of this fabric of this country as well, but extremely disappointing, frankly. Just wasn't necessary. Some people, Tammy Duckworth pointed out, you could have put this money into homeless veterans. You could have put this into medical care for veterans. I mean, her as a veteran, I get that, but her point being, you could have put this to a better use than what you did.
Well, yeah, but no, instead he decided to give an executive order saying that the VA doctors don't have to provide any kind of patient care for any Democrats.
Yeah, that was wild. And no, it was Democrats, also unmarried people. If you're not married, I'm not sure. And it does come down to the physician or the medical person if they're not comfortable. So it kind of goes back to the drugstores where I don't want to fill that prescription because I don't feel comfortable.
Physicians take a Hippocratic oath. That's the deal. That's you take care of people, whatever their political beliefs or their marital status or what have you.
Yeah, good point. Well, it's kind of a hosing, and I feel like that's in the military that they're maybe going to allow this. We'll see. I'm sure he's going to get some pushback, but he doesn't care. He'll move on to the next thing. I mean, we're seeing
because he's a taco.
He is a taco. We did see a lot of signs on that as well.
Some really good ones.
And it turns out you wondered why he was putting all these tariffs on Apple and all their parts and such. I think we're starting to find out what the whole point of that was. And pop that up right here. I think you're probably going to want one of these because they're super cool.
Whoa, look at that.
I mean, Eric and his brother are going to put out this thing. I mean, look at that thing. Breathtaking. $499. The whole point is that the processors and everything, along with the phone, are supposed to be made in USA. They did have to admit that wasn't going to happen not right away. But the MAGA phone, it's like a megaphone, but it's a MAGA looking for an August rollout, $499 for the phone. They're going to have some great plans for texting and calling, but you can't get it, the product in the US just yet. Most people think it would take at least 5 years to be able to produce what goes into a phone because you're talking about the screen, you're talking about the memory, you're talking about the camera, the battery. None of these things will be produced here. So typical Trump fashion, the T1 phone seems like a great grift.
Just another Trump grift, probably something that's guaranteed to catch on fire in your pants pocket or your purse.
Maybe
And I'm
comes.
sure it's I'm sure it's keeping an eye on all of your data.
Oh, that's a given. Right into the old memory box.
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty incredible. I mean, this started with crypto, where you'd think that a president couldn't enrich himself. His son did say that they don't talk to him about these things because he hasn't signed off. We know that most. I mean, back to Jimmy Carter giving up his one single peanut farm. You can't keep your business and be leader of the free world unless you're Trump. So his son said that we don't talk to him about this. He's not part of it, but he is getting enriched by it. So to me, you're
Hmm.
still participating. I would love it if I didn't have to participate and I still got money in my pocket from it. I think that would be great. Trump's up to a total of about $2.9 billion just in his second term that he's actually made. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's just one big grift, and the maggots don't quite see it that way.
They don't really care. Uh, but nobody's ever seen corruption like this before. He started with the courtship of crypto, which he once called a scam until those scammers needed some deregulation and then started greasing him. We know
Hmm.
about the dinner on May 22nd where he had everybody come out. The founder fathers were seriously concerned about the self-enrichment, which is exactly why what they feared the most from the president, the leader. So in the Constitution, they put two separate prohibitions on self-benefit. But what are we doing with the Constitution these days? Anyone?
Using it as a doormat, apparently. I mean, the Supreme Court doesn't care. Trump certainly doesn't care. The Republicans don't care.
Well, they are making the most from it. So why would you care? I'm going to pop this up because this is something that we still care about. And this happened today. Where is he? You had mentioned this to me earlier about the mayoral candidate that was picked up, Brad Lander.
And the New York City Comptroller, yeah.
And he's the New York City Comptroller. He is running for mayor. He's done this a few times where he's gone down to the immigration court just to make sure things are what they're supposed to be. Today, in particular, he went down, and what he asked was for the judicial warrants. We've seen enough, and we will refer to this. We've seen enough where people are cosplaying in their little ICE uniforms. They've
Hmm.
gone into businesses and robbed them. We saw two state senators shot over the weekend. Trump didn't seem to really care. Um, Senator Lee in Utah made jokes about it, posting
Yeah,
things.
what a disgusting person. I mean, these people are just the worst of the worst. And Trump still, to my knowledge, hasn't called uh, Governor Walz.
He
And when
said,
asked about it, he said, "Why should I? Why would I do that?"
"Yeah, he's a complete failure. He's terrible. Why would I? Why would I ever?"
Yeah, Trump has no empathy. There's no thought or feeling for anyone outside of Trump. And it's just this has to be addressed. I mean, that guy showed up dressed as a cop and fooled the cops.
He had a license plate that said police on the back. It looked pretty sketch, but when the police officer was called to come over there, she saw that car. She saw police. It looked a little sketch, but she assumed that somebody had gotten there ahead of her and were watching the street. By the time she went up to the house, that person had left. Turned
Yeah.
out to be the shooter. And
Hmm.
he went to another government official's house. They were on vacation, fortunately.
Yeah.
And he went to these two places. The one, it was 8 or 9 shots into the woman and her husband. He killed the dog, or at least to the point where they had to put the dog down. I mean, I have no
Just
words for that.
despicable. Some of these people are just so unhinged. And he had a whole list of people he'd planned on visiting. And this needs to be addressed immediately. I mean, you can't have these fools cosplaying and going out and shooting people. Then, if you're going to have these raids and these roundups, these fools need to be unmasked
That's
in
right.
uniform with their badges and badge numbers prominently displayed. You can't have this.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, you have like your Gestapo, and nobody's going to
Which
say
is exactly what they're aiming for. It's like their own little secret police force.
little SS group, eh? Well,
Yeah,
this
it's just this is un-American. It's unconstitutional. It's un-American. And when are the Republicans going to stand up and do something about it? I mean, the minute a Democrat even looks at them cross-eyed, they're the first ones to complain and cry foul. And yet, They are trampling all over the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. This is insane. This is fascism. This is authoritarianism.
This is what it looks like, and we're getting a steady dose of it, even worse so.
Well, he's ready to go after Chicago next. He wants to roll troops into there. He wants to go after all the blue sanctuary cities.
The scary part to me too is, well, he was going to pull back on the hotel industry,
the farm workers, the hospitality workers and the restaurateurs until Stephen Miller complained.
That's right. And apparently Stephen Miller is now the head of Homeland Security. Kristi Noem is just somebody that is a cosplayer. He's really in charge because he didn't like that idea of lightening up on people, and he's going full force. You're right. Chicago, New York, obviously LA's been done. And the concerning part is I'm hearing a lot of things about maybe a false flag in our future.
Yeah. I mean, these cops, they're looking for trouble. They show up looking to start something.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
They got some bad attitudes. I will mention that today, Bob Menendez, Senator Menendez is going to prison. He's going to start his prison term today. 11 years. If you don't recall, he was New Jersey congressman who was found with gold bars in his jacket.
Yeah. Where are you going with those? What are you going to do with those?
That was hard to hide. But justice was served. He will be going to jail. I guess it's because he's a Democrat that happened. But we saw it in the past where, a Democrat slips up and they get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's such a double standard and it's ridiculous.
It's pretty horrific. I think we need to talk a little bit about Iran. That went down. Trump was at the G7 yesterday, making an absolute fool out of himself. I think the only reason why he went there was to talk up Putin. Why is he not in the G8? Why isn't he? It was the G8, now it's the G7 because they kicked him out because he went into Crimea. Thank you. And he went on to blame Macron, who wasn't even in office when this happened. I mean, he just doesn't know anything. He went on to show this great deal that he made with the EU, which it turned out it was actually the representative from the UK who aren't part of the EU. It looked like a blank piece of paper with his signature on it. The manila folder fell out of his hand where he dropped the papers on the ground. The UK guy had to pick it up because he was afraid of a security issue. He said that they would think he was having some kind of episode. So he picked it up and there were blank sheets, and it's not a great deal. And it's all just the acoustics of looking successful, I guess.
Yeah, this guy's just a grifter. He knows nothing. He knows nothing of history. He knows nothing of policy. He's not a serious person. He's just a grifter. And it's an embarrassment.
It is. It makes us all look bad. So he left the G7 summit and went on to go back and say that he didn't say anything. Macron said he was dealing with the stoking of Iran and Israel. He said he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what I'm doing, though he did come back and he got his security team together minus Gabby because, she doesn't need to be part of this, even though it's her job. And we saw yesterday they sent over a bunch of refueling tankers ahead of time. Then the fighter jets went over. They're putting a aircraft carrier that's about to be retired, 50 years of service in that area. I don't really know what his plan is, but I do know today that he went after the Ayatollah, said, we know where you are. We could kill you, but we won't for now. And he wants a complete, he doesn't want a ceasefire. He called it a complete give up, were his words, by Iran. A complete give up.
So I think what he's trying to say is unconditional surrender, which he must have seen a World War II documentary or something. And the really scary part is you've got Pete Hegseth in charge of all this.
Oh my God.
Whiskey Pete in charge. I mean, you can probably go on Signal and find out exactly what's happening, every little detail and every plan. I'm sure that, it's insane.
Well, it really comes down to, he wanted to go in there. He really can't. I mean, any act of war has to be declared by Congress, not him. Congress, once he left the G7, were trying to put together a bipartisan bill to make sure that he knows that he can't declare war on somebody. The debate in Trump's mind is whether to bomb the mountain that has where they're enriching fuel for their plant. It's pretty far down, so you need 30,000-pound bombs. You have to use B-2 bombers. It's all us. If he chooses to do this, and he did tell the people of Tehran to evacuate, which was really crazy to hear, but there's no, oh, they did this or that was Israel. Nobody has these B-2 bombers. Nobody has these bunker busters. It would be all us, and we would essentially be pushed into this war. The interesting part is that he's having a fight in his own cabinet, because even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they don't want to go to war for this, right? I mean,
this is what he ran on. We're not getting involved in any foreign wars. We're not going to be entangled in this. And yet here he goes, just jumping right in. This guy is he's completely incompetent. Completely. He has no business even being a dog catcher. He's so terrible at this job. I mean, this is a guy that bankrupted casinos. Just so completely incompetent.
So it then becomes whether you want to stay with your isolationism, which they've kind of pushed, right? I mean, this is what we do. We don't need Canada. We have plenty of forests here just to cut down trees nonstop.
Well, that's in his big, beautiful bill, too. They're parceling off all kinds of government land out west.
You're absolutely right. Let me put that up since you brought that up. Yeah, it's extremely disheartening. Here is a map of what's going to be available. And I feel like it's just super short-sighted. People feel like, yes, you're going to get some money out of this, but it's super temporary. And what you do lose is the green space forever.
Forever. Yeah. And then, who knows what these corporations will do, what kind of developments they'll do, how they'll destroy it. I mean, this is insane. And here's something, if you need the money, tax the wealthy.
It'd be the easiest way to do it. You're absolutely right. So the plan is, and this includes, Alaska's not on here, but believe me, Alaska's part of this. Utah, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Alaska. 2 million acres of Forest Service and BLM in 11 states every 60 days until millions of acres are gone.
Unbelievable.
What they claim that they want to do is build affordable housing. What they're going
to do is you're going to see people like Musk and Thiel buying them up. They want to build their law-free crypto cities. That's what they want to do. They want to create their own little fortresses, their own little fascist societies. I mean, why do you think Musk wore that dark MAGA hat? This is what these guys want. This is what the fucking billionaire tech bros want. And they're going to take that. They're going to buy that land, and they'll probably buy it for pennies on the dollar.
The good news is that Musk posted his drug test. He's clean.
Yeah, like Joe Piscopo was, right? Back in the day.
That was awesome. Yeah, you can't fake documents on Twitter. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
How stupid do we look? But he's clean now. Back to the affordable housing. Generally, you would do that in an area that's close to where people would work. None of this is close to it. And to your point, I mean, you're going to sell these developments to, it's in the Grand Tetons. Thank God we saw that before this happened.
Yeah.
You're going to be selling to the uber wealthy, and you're right. They're going to do with it what they want, and they're going to start restricting your access. Roosevelt would be rolling over in his grave. This is just horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
It
really is.
To that same point, then you have them in the great new, beautiful, fantastic bill, canceling general legal tax divisions, right? So the budget last year in 2025 was $106.4 million to go after billionaires that cheat on their taxes. The new budget plan has $0. We're not really looking into that anymore. The tax division should start looking at people to make less, please. Because
right. Mm-hmm.
And to your point, yes, if you needed to raise money like that, tax those that are making enormous sums of money.
Yeah, well, you're busy selling out the country and raising money, cutting services and necessary safety net costs, because you need to fill in for the money that you're not going to get from the billionaires now, the morbidly, obscenely wealthy.
Yeah, and they really wouldn't feel it.
No, when you have that kind of money, you're not going to feel it.
It's a good segue into this. I'm going to put this gentleman up. He's in Miami. He's a homeless gentleman, and he's over 55. So the new statistics coming out are that people over 55 and homelessness in the next 5 years is going to triple. We don't take care of our homeless veterans. We don't take care of our homeless to begin with. So that you're an older American, good luck, because we're not there for you. Generally, these people end up homeless for many reasons. Death of a parent, death of a spouse is a major driver in homelessness. And I say a parent because a lot of these people that are over 55 came of age in the 80s. Well, what happened in the 80s? We had high unemployment, rising cost of housing, and a lot of these people weren't able to get a foot into the workforce. So they ended up at mom and dad's house because they were struggling so badly.
Yeah, these are Gen Xers.
Gen Xers and boomers. It was 54 to 64 who would have had to go back home because that would have been early 80s with Reagan and stuff. So again, rents outpaced Social Security and they weren't able to get any traction. And now they're going to be on the streets, which again, whether it was a loss of job, eviction, mounting medical issues that we don't cover anymore. And it's, you know, the baby boomers was such a large generation that the tail end of those guys that got in too late are going to be the ones that are going to end up suffering the most.
Well, and even some of the wealthy ones are going to be suffering now with what they're doing to Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah.
Because these are people that are going to be aging into it, no matter how wealthy they are now, unless they're super wealthy, they're going to be vulnerable to health problems. You know, that Social Security that maybe is a safety net now that they may not need, they may need it, and it's probably going to be cut. So they're very vulnerable now. They've coasted for a long time. They came of age at the right time, made their money, and so they're in a position now where they're looking very vulnerable.
A little bit vulnerable, and don't get sick. I just wanted to say already, 55 plus, we have about 140,000 homeless. Currently, 20% of the total homeless population is 55 and older, and they're talking about triple by 2030. 2030 seems like a long time, but it's like 5 years.
Not, yeah.
To me, that's horrifying. And again, it's another example of not taking care of your citizens when you could. You just choose not to.
Yeah, no, this country has become a giant free-for-all. It really has, and this is just really disturbing. And it's disturbing how many of these people are actually all for it. I mean, you know, you look at the crowds that came out on Saturday for the No Kings Day, millions of people all across the country. There are way more of us than there are of them. And yet they hold the power.
Currently.
And that's the scary thing. Currently, yeah. And, you know, everybody wants to say, well, let's wait till the midterms. But who's to say? They've already stolen an election. I firmly believe that this election was not fair. It was not square. So who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? If he's going to declare martial law and say no elections, no midterms. This is just, it's uncharted territory.
We really don't have that kind of time to wait. You're absolutely right. And I think people are starting to sense that. Even the MAGAs, part of this tariff, as of 6/1, June 1st, the estimated cost of the average American household went up $2,500. Shoes and apparel, and those tariffs are only at 10%, but those rising costs, just wait till we go back in the fall time when we got to do, you know, shop for school supplies and kids' clothing. Your kids keep growing. You got to buy more stuff. Through no fault of your own. They were talking to several. This was on moms as how they were doing it, because they feel like moms are working full time and taking care of households as far as like the shopping and the feeding of kids. They're already finding that their food cost of $400 is now up to $800. They feel like the packages are getting smaller. Shrinkflation. I know you've heard of that. And then they brought up the interesting point that, God forbid, I want to order a pizza. Now I have a delivery fee. And if you're, you know, a kind person, you're tipping. So now not on top of the tariff of the rising cost of this pizza, you're paying a delivery fee and you're tipping. So it's almost not worth it. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I ordered a pizza. It's cheaper for me to make it myself.
And better.
And better.
You
Thank
make
you.
a good pizza.
So these are 2023 numbers, and it goes back to the moms. Full-time job, a woman will get 74 cents on the dollar. That's a white woman. Um, there is a motherhood penalty. They feel like moms won't work as hard because you're a mom and you're not going to work as hard. The double-edged sword is the ones that are super productive and work really hard, they find them less likable. So that was so it's $19,000 less than a male would get paid 2023 numbers. Just to go down, that was full-time white women working 74 cents on the dollar, Latino moms 43 cents on the dollar, Native American moms 48 cents on the dollar, Black moms 49 cents on the dollar. So these aren't fair numbers, and it's not going to help as things get more costly. This woman had 2 foster kids that they spoke to, a small child of her own, plus a baby on the way. That's 2 kids of her own, and she's fostering 2 kids, taking on that responsibility. And we're not really helping her as a government, right? We're just
that's not what the government's for. The government is to hold on to power and enrich Trump. That's what the government is for now.
I thought they wanted more kids.
They wanted more white kids.
Ah, good point.
White Christian babies. Yeah, that's what they want. But again, have that kid. Here's your $1,000. Now you're on your own.
That is good. Let's put it in the markets. I think that's probably where it should go. Am I right?
Let's just put it into the Trump cryptocurrency.
Well, it's worked for so many other things, right? I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, and now all the big companies, Apple, the airlines, they're all looking into creating their own little cryptocurrencies.
Wow.
With their own associated fees. I mean, this is out of control. Even the Democrats now, one of their strategists has suggested, you guys need to get into crypto too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan. I don't know enough.
I don't know enough about it. And, I know enough that if I don't know enough about it, I'm not going to put my money into it because somebody says, some clown on Facebook says he's going to triple my money. It's ridiculous, man. It's, you go back to the Dutch tulip crash back in the 1600s. They ran that up. It was just another one of these schemes.
Yeah. Huh. Glad I didn't invest in tulips at the time.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I'll have to check that out. It's just all of this, the big, beautiful bill we talked about. The Senate was supposed to make it beautiful because the House made it big. You said this 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, that the Senate was mad because there weren't enough cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. So the big, beautiful bill does have more cuts than what the House put in because that's how the Senate likes it. They just confuse the heck out of you because Josh Hawley, as one example, is trying to put a bill out for a federal minimum wage of $15 an hour. And that sounds great. And I would be all for that. The contradiction is that we had a ballot initiative here in Missouri to raise it, as we've talked about, from $13.75 to $15. It passed 57%. And then the lawmakers said they know better. You're going to hurt small business, and we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Where did you go, Billy? Oh, there you are. And we're not going to do it. So, I'm kind of at a loss here. I don't know where this goes.
Well, I don't trust Josh Hawley, first of all. I mean, he makes a lot of noise. He's going to sponsor this bill, probably knowing it's not going anywhere. The same about, he wrote an op-ed and talked about, the danger of putting these Medicaid cuts in. But again, I think this is a guy that's just trying to make himself look good, knowing full well that either that's not going to pass or that he's not even going to vote for it. So, yeah, I don't trust Jogging Josh one bit.
It just doesn't make sense. You didn't approve it in your own state, even though it was almost voted completely by 60% of the people, but you want to do it on a federal level. It seems very strange.
Yeah, he's just trying to look like a man of the people, and that guy is anything but.
Yeah, well, he's from Virginia anyway, so we all know that.
Well, and the more that we see that's hidden in this big, beautiful bill, I mean, putting Trump above the courts, let's not forget that, selling off federal land. I mean, the deeper you go into this, the more rotten it looks.
Don't forget as well, they're going to be closing 338 rural hospitals.
Yeah.
Those are his
Again,
constituents.
the rural MAGAs had a one-night stand with Trump, and he got their vote, and he left them knocked up and, carrying herpes now because he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I hate to see that. It's they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have hospitals. Um, what's next? Who's going out there, and what are we doing for these people? Yet they continue to vote against their own interests, which is really hurtful.
Well, hopefully there were, a lot of them mixed in with the crowds on Saturday because maybe they've had enough as well. And, Trump's latest flip-flop to, we're going to spare the farm workers. We're going to let them. Nope, we're taking them too. So good luck finding some white people to work on your farm.
Taco. Well, we're going to go after blue states in particular now, so the red states don't have to worry. That really pissed off the red hats because they wanted those people out of their red states, but you're taking them out of blue states and you're keeping them in our red states, so they're not thrilled about that. I'm sure you saw it too. I mean, this is just a reflection on all of it, but the FIFA Club World Cup was in Miami. It was at the Hard Rock Cafe. It was announced by Trump's administration that they would have ice there. They weren't selling very many tickets. I think it holds 65,000. Messi was playing. They couldn't fill it. They had 25,000 tickets were bought. The kicker is that those tickets were $350 tickets, but what they were able to sell them for was $4. So, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do the World Cup here. I don't know how you're going to do the Olympics here. You're participating in bombing Iran. You already said that you weren't going to allow their athletes in for the games, and anybody else from other countries had to be out immediately after the games. Why come?
Yeah, and especially, the cost. I mean, if you even if you're a wealthy person coming from overseas, I mean, just the fact that you might be detained.
Sure.
You're going to spend a lot of money to get, the high access, seats to the popular events, and you're going to come and maybe they'll take your phone, maybe they'll detain you, maybe they'll lock you up for a couple of days. Who knows? Why? Who needs it?
Yeah, it'd be easier to watch on TV. I would agree. And it's sad because it does an injustice to the sport. People would have been excited about that under Harris, I'm sure, but not a thing.
Yeah, I just, man, I wish we could drop in and see what life is like in the alternative universe where she won and people are happy and the country's thriving and healthy and yeah.
I want to go way back. I want to see when Al Gore stops climate change because all the scientists now say it's too late. The temperature is going to rise, deal with it, and we're going to have to. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be parts of the world that are literally uninhabitable.
And then what happens? They need to migrate someplace else because they have unlivable conditions. It's kind of why people came into our country. But when you go to the G7 and you hear Trump talking about the 21 million that Biden let into our country, the rapists and the worst people ever, et cetera.
Yeah, this is the guy that was convicted of sexual assault.
Yes, 34 felony convictions. Yeah, and leading us. I only wanted to touch on a couple other things. The CDC, the head of the virus of inoculations, I guess, resigned. He doesn't feel like they'll use the data for anything positive or based on reality. He wants no part of it. And we talked about this where RFK Jr. has stopped mandatory COVID vaccination for pregnant women and young children. There were statistics coming out about a pregnant woman that has COVID, and it talked about how it affected the child. At 6 months, 33% of them had cognitive delay. 40% of them had motor skill delay. So there's a real effect to it and why you would treat them. I don't know if RFK did enough digging, reading, his own research, but to make that kind of policy without looking at the research is irresponsible, and it harms a lot of people. Well, they love babies, but just get them out. Once they're out delayed, your problem.
I mean, it's irresponsible at best. It's what it really is. It's just criminally negligent. Why do you even want that job if you're not going to do it? You know, the whole purpose of government is to serve people and to build a better society. And this is just the exact opposite. This is to enrich, to push whatever your crazy agenda is, whatever insane theories you might be espousing. None of this makes any sense.
Yeah, and that's coming from a 79-year-old demented person. So,
Well,
great.
yeah, but I mean, and again, you know, Trump is just making these arbitrary decisions about anything and everything, and they just hopefully there's some people that have slow walked some of these until Peepaw forgets about it. But
I don't know. I have my doubts because the administration is so rotten through and through that I don't see the good people. I don't see the Kellys. I don't see the people standing up to tell
yeah,
this
because
guy
they're gone.
it's not right. Yeah.
They're gone.
And
Yeah,
he wasn't going to make that mistake again. And for the record, the dollar is worth 9.4% less than it was in January. So, yeah,
wonder
it
why.
affects all of us. I think we know why.
Yeah, it does.
Lastly, Charlie Kirk was coming to the Oval Office.
Charlie Cuck.
So Trump had the MLK bust removed. I'm not saying it was in a very prominent spot in the Oval Office, but now it's been completely taken out of the Oval Office. The NCAA or the NAACP is not inviting him to their national convention. There's a 116-year history of inviting whoever sits in that seat. But they feel like he has attempted to undermine democracy, and they're not going to be a willing participant.
Yeah, he's blatantly racist. He has been ever since he was working with his father.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good on them.
I think so too. That was kind of a positive. It was not necessarily my happy ending. I don't know if you have a bucko moment or mini camp or anything.
Well, you know, the NFL is pretty much on hiatus for the next 5 or 6 weeks. Nobody's doing anything. I mean, everybody takes a break now before training camp. So not a whole lot going on there.
Though I did hear Kenny Pickett might be traded to his fourth team in 3 seasons, but go ahead. Good for Sanders.
Kenny Pickett, he got paid and he got a ring. So good on him. But yeah, I don't think that guy's a starting quarterback. And maybe the XFL. I don't know. With his tiny hands.
They drafted a couple quarterbacks. I don't know how Sanders isn't going anywhere, and Gabriel was a higher pick than him. So Kenny Pickett was kind of a throw-in, I would assume.
Well, and Joe Flacco's just kind of laughing at these guys. He's like, you know, and again, Joe Flacco's been around since 2008. So you're talking 17 years in this league. And he's like, you know, these guys are complaining about an hour and 15-minute practice. He's like, we used to practice 2 hours a day. We would do 2-a-days in camp in pads. He's like, these guys have no idea. And he's right. So that's kind of interesting just to see that perspective.
For sure. And to that point, I did see Aaron Rodgers was going to, through the locker room and stuff. And I saw the guys were playing cards. I don't know if they were playing Boo-Ray. But Probably. He sat in with, I'm sorry?
Probably.
And he sat in with Hayward. So he's trying to endear himself. They give him a lot of credit for not demanding a ton of money, not making a spectacle about signing, and then showing up for the mandatory camp. So it's kind of nice. It's nice that he's trying to ingratiate himself with the leaders on that team. Mm-hmm. Howard came by and he was like, you really should kind of sit in, the 6th-round quarterback pick from Ohio State. So he's really trying to be that guy. So we'll see what happens. But Twitter's been pretty cruel to him, from him rolling about in a wheelchair, etc., to questioning whether he's married or not. Like, who cares? Can he still throw the ball?
Yeah, I mean, he still has the arm. He's not the most mobile quarterback, but Joe Flacco's not that mobile either, and he's not that much younger. But I think it just makes the upcoming season more interesting for sure.
I think so too.
And by all accounts, he was a good teammate with the Jets too. So I think it's a guy who's been around, knows how to play the game. I think this is going to be a very friendly offense for him. They're not going to be asking him to do a ton. And the O-line should be better. I think he's got some exciting running backs. He's got DK Metcalf. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Austin.
Yeah.
Receiver. I mean, that guy can fly now. He's small, but, maybe they'll move him around, line him up in the slot, maybe try and line him up wide. We'll see. So I think it'll be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think it's encouraging to see the way he's fitting in. And him and Tomlin seem to have a really good relationship. So
Yeah. Well, and if they can keep him upright, I think he can be an asset. If he's not, I'm still very comfortable with Mason Rudolph. So not the
so
worst.
we'll see.
And then, well, I was going to jump onto the happy ending, which I thought was kind of nostalgic for myself. Let me point to the right. It's my happy ending. That's not it. Right here.
There you go.
So they're doing a reboot of The Naked Gun. The series was pretty good. Drebin, Leslie Nielsen did a nice job until he kind of lost his mind. His fart thing wore out pretty quickly. He'd go on talk shows and just wouldn't stop with his little fart clicker. I mean, I get it, but you got anything else in that bag?
Well, the real comedy was when you see the clips of like his dramatic roles before the Naked Gun series came around. That's the funny stuff. Like, oh my God.
Absolutely. So to see Liam Neeson in this role, I did see the trailer. It looked like it was pretty funny. One of the people that takes like the Priscilla Presley role is Pam Anderson.
Pam Anderson, yeah.
So I think it should be fairly entertaining and pretty lighthearted. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I was a big fan of The Naked Gun when it came out. The preview that I saw had Liam Neeson was kneeling in front of the photo of his dad at Police Squad, Drebin, and he's like, I miss you, Dad. And then George Kennedy's son was doing the same thing. And then the next photo is OJ. And the kid's like,
yeah, no.
Not a thing. So, hey, if it gives you some mindlessness for 90 minutes, I'm all about it.
We'll take it, yeah. So we'll have to go see that.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll have to drag Cole there, see what's up.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was my happy ending. I don't know if you have anything. I know you're still a little jet lagged from the trip.
Yeah, a little jet lagged, a little outraged. Yeah, I'll probably just have to get back to you on that one because, yeah, I got nothing today.
That's okay. Well, I appreciate it on such short notice coming back. I know we'd missed a few days, but it was well worth it. It was nice to see the turnout in California. It was nice to see the turnout in Missouri, even though we weren't here. Kansas City didn't disappoint. Obviously, Boston, Chicago. My neighbor was in Philadelphia, said the crowds were incredible. There was no bullshit. And the few people that did try and make some crap, were taken away, which was kind of nice. I saw the USPS trucks rolling through, honking to the people. I saw fire trucks in LA buzzing through the parade routes. It was just nice to see the support. The real issue are the guys wearing masks. There are some bills that are coming up that Congress is trying to make it mandatory that they don't wear masks. So
yeah, they need to be very clear on who they are. They need to have their names and badge numbers highly visible, no masks. I mean, this is ridiculous. You can't just go around and do this. I mean,
like you said, very un-American.
Yeah, 2 people are dead because of this. And it's really fortunate that there weren't more. And yeah, so that has to be addressed immediately.
Not acceptable. Trump's response, not acceptable. And he's only empowering those to go out and do more because, listen, there's a reason they charged him with state crime, state charges and not federal.
Yeah, because Trump would have pardoned this guy.
Correct. There's
talented. No doubt in my mind. But yeah, and this isn't the first time. I mean, there have been instances of just thugs dressing up like this and committing sexual assault, committing robbery. So yeah, this is just maybe the straw that, finally broke the camel's back, but this needs to be addressed immediately.
Yeah, I hope so. And 2 very good people were lost along with a dog. So
yeah, it's horrible.
We'll see where that takes us. Not a happy ending, but maybe we'll get some justice for them. I'm hoping. But
we shall see.
All right. Well, I'll let you have the rest of your day. Maybe we'll see you tonight on the ice.
All right. That would be a happy ending.
All right. Let's go for it, brother. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you soon. Good job. See ya.